Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, Aptose Biosciences Incorporated just filed a current report, and it's mainly about releasing their latest financial update. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. This filing is pretty straightforward, mostly pointing us to a press release that was put out on the same day, so let's dive into what that might tell us about the company. So what we have here is essentially a notification that on May 13, 2026, Aptose Biosciences Incorporated released some information. This is a common practice for companies using a Form 8K to officially announce significant news, especially when it relates to their financial performance. It's like them saying, hey, we just told the public something important, and here is the official record. This specific filing, this 8K, is telling us to look at Exhibit 99.1, which is the actual press release. Think of the 8K as the cover letter and the press release as the main story. The filing also mentions that this information is incorporated herein by reference, which means it's treated as part of the official filing, even though the full details are in that separate press release. In plain English, they're saying, go read that press release for the juicy details on our financial condition and operations. Now, beyond the technicalities of the filing itself, it's worth noting the context provided by recent news. Aptose Biosciences Incorporated, a company in the healthcare and biotechnology sector, with a current market capitalization of around $4 million and only 14 employees, has been in the news for a potential acquisition. There was a headline from late April suggesting Hammy was looking to acquire the company for C$2.41 per S-Hair. This context is really important because it can color how we interpret any financial update. When a company is potentially being acquired, financial reporting often focuses on demonstrating some level of stability or future potential, even if it's just to make the deal more attractive. So, what's in that press release, Exhibit 99.1? Since the 8K doesn't give us the numbers directly, we have to infer what kind of information would be shared in a press release on this date, especially for a biotech company. Typically, these releases will cover financial results for the most recent period, which, given the May 13th date, would likely be for the first quarter of 2026. They might discuss revenue, expenses, net income or loss, and significant operational developments. For a small biotech company, it's not unusual to see them reporting losses as they invest in research and development to bring new therapies to market. The real focus is often on their cash position, their progress with clinical trials, and the overall strategic direction. The market cap of just $4 million and the small team size suggest a company that is likely in a development stage, perhaps with a drug candidate or two in early to mid-stage trials. Acquisitions in this sector are common either for promising early-stage technology or for companies with a unique platform. The reported offer from Hammy, if it materializes, would provide a significant return for existing shareholders compared to the current market cap, given that this filing is essentially a gateway to a press release, and the press release itself isn't attached in a way we can analyze its specific numbers here. We can't delve into precise figures like revenue growth or profit margins in this particular 8K. However, we can anticipate that the financial results would be paramount. Investors would be looking for signs of how efficiently the company is managing its cash burn, which is critical for any biotech firm that isn't yet generating substantial revenue. They would also be interested in any updates on their drug pipeline, as that is the core driver of value for such a company. The fact that this is a current report filed on a specific date in May 2026, and the most recent news points to a potential acquisition, suggests that the management team is focused on presenting the company in the best possible light. This could mean highlighting any positive clinical trial data, any progress in regulatory pathways, or any strategic partnerships that might enhance the company's valuation. Thinking about the potential acquisition by Hanmi, the numbers in that press release would be scrutinized by both Hanmi and Aptose's management to justify the proposed acquisition price. If Aptose is showing promising clinical results or has a strong intellectual property portfolio, that would support a higher valuation. Conversely, if their cash reserves are dwindling rapidly or if clinical trials are facing setbacks, it could put pressure on the acquisition terms. It is rare for a company of this size to be filing these reports unless they have something significant to announce or as a routine procedural step. In this case, the announcement is about their financial performance and operations, which is a standard item to report. The critical element here is the story the financial results and operational updates tell. Are they burning cash at an accelerating rate with little to show for it, or are they making steady progress toward a breakthrough that justifies further investment or an acquisition premium? Considering the market context, a company with a $4 million market cap and 14 employees is a micro, These companies are often the target of buyouts because they represent innovative technology or intellectual property that larger companies want to integrate into their own pipelines. The acquisition news of C$2.41 per S-hair, if that translates to a significant premium over the current trading price before it was announced, would be a strong indicator that there is perceived value in Aptose beyond what the day-to-day stock price might reflect. While we don't have the specific financial tables from the press release directly in this 8K filing, the narrative it initiates is clear. Aptose Biosciences Incorporated is communicating its ongoing financial and operational status. This is crucial information for any potential acquirer and for current shareholders who are evaluating their investment, especially with the acquisition in the air. We would ideally want to see their cash burn rate, the runway provided by their current cash on hand, and any forward-looking statements about their clinical development. These are the metrics that truly matter for a biotech company at this stage, and are the most important indicators of its intrinsic value and future prospects, particularly in the context of an M&A event. The biggest concern for any company in this space is always funding and the successful progression of its research and development pipeline. If the press release highlights a strong cash position and positive developments in their clinical trials, that would be a very encouraging sign. However, without those specific details, this filing serves more as a procedural announcement that the information has been made public. The real analysis lies in the content of that press release. What I am actually looking for is a clear picture of the company's burn rate versus its cash on hand, and any concrete updates on its drug development pipeline that could justify its valuation or the reported acquisition offer. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description.